Hey guys, this is Robin, Next Gen Writer here. I'm going to do another video on the Chigee AIO-6. A little bit of rumors out there. So I did the video talking about some pricing insights. So Chigee has published their retail pricing on some pages on their website. Although they haven't gotten the navigation turned on. They're not accepting orders there. They're going to launch on Kickstarter. But those pages give us kind of some insight in where the retail pricing on these products is going to fall. So for an AIO-6, which is the non-LTE system, we're at about $490, $590 for the fully featured LTE 4G smart writing system, and then all the accessories are there. You can check that other video and kind of see how what that pricing is about. I'm going to kind of review it here. But I had some comments that were telling me that Chigee's going to launch Saturday. So again, we're Friday morning here in the Philippines, so that's Thursday night in the U.S. Supposed to launch Saturday. It's what this guy told me. We'll see if that happens, but it makes sense. It's imminent. It's supposed to happen, but I think the timing could really not be worse for Chigee. So another thing a guy told me was I mentioned the cameras. I think I assumed it was a per camera price, and that probably doesn't make sense. I think this $179 for the cameras is going to be for a pair of cameras, front and rear, and that makes a lot more sense from a pricing standpoint. So what I've done is I've kind of revised numbers and put them in a more sensible package. And then another thing that's been happening, man, it's very, very fresh. Day before yesterday was April 2nd. For you guys in the U.S. are going to order in the U.S. and we have Liberation Day, and all these tariffs are going into effect. Now, as a consumer, you probably haven't really dealt with tariffs a whole lot because we had this thing in place called minimus. What do they call it? Minimus loophole. So anyway, that was enacted way back in the day, and basically anything under $800 came in import duty or tariff free. So if you ordered something from Shine or Temu or wherever and had it shipped in from China, you didn't have any tariff issues. It would just show up, and there were no tariffs, no duties on the package. Well, that's about to change. So the current administration in the United States has said, nope, we're shutting this down. So for you guys that are going to be ordering products, onesie-twosie products from these various suppliers that are located in Hong Kong and China, you're going to start paying tariffs. At least that's the way it is today. Now, tariff policy has been a moving target, anything but consistent. This loophole removal was actually proposed and implemented a couple of months back, and then they delayed it or removed that repeal. But now this is supposed to happen, and it's supposed to happen in May, exactly when Chigee is supposed to start shipping these units to pre-order customers. So we expect pre-orders to open any day now. You can get your pre-orders in. And then Chigee's supposed to ship in May and June on the initial pre-orders. Well, so let's take a look and see what this all means with regards to, again, this is going to be for U.S. customers. So if you're, in Europe or other parts of the world and you understand tariffs, you've already been dealing with them. Some of you guys seem shocked when an item hits your country and then you got to pay tariffs. But most people understand this already. Americans are now going to learn. So, and also wanted to be a bit more fair to Chigee on how I kind of priced out a base system. So let's take a look at the numbers here. So what I have here is I have the AIO-6 Max and the AIO-6 LTE priced at $490 and $590. I've added a camera package at $179 based on their retail price on their website, and then a detachable bracket. So there's two detachable brackets, one for BMW, one for non-BMWs, a CG release. They're both priced at $105. I think that's a sensible base system. And if you're a BMW rider with a new generation or late model BMW, then you can avail of the integration capability of the AIO-6 right away. And that's great for you. Non-BMW, us guys on other bikes, Triumphs, KTMs, whatever, we're not going to get that OBD functionality or that data integration right off the bat. We will have to buy the OBD module. So what does this look like? So Chigee's, they have the base unit prices, and then they're giving us a 20% discount on all accessories. So that means cameras and detachable bracket should get us a 20% discount. And then we need, if you're in the US, we need to consider the tariffs if they hold, and we'll see what that looks like. So I did the numbers two different ways, a 30% tariff, a 54% tariff. There was a 20% tariff already levied, but we didn't, if you're a retail consumer ordering off Shine and Temu, you didn't see it because this exemption was still in place. So now it remains to be seen where the hell this tariff actually lands, because the administration has been saying a lot of different stuff, and it's been really, really confusing. So I just pulled two sets of numbers. Right now, it looks like it's going to be 54%. There's the initial 20%, and then there's now the new tariff at 54%, combined with the removal of the minimus exception. But maybe it's 30%. Who the hell knows? I don't know. I don't think anybody really does. But if we take the 20% discount and then calculate some tariff numbers on that, here's 30%, 54% numbers, 147, 264, for example, on the display. And then, we're going to add that up and add all our tariffs in on all these components. And that's, if it's a 30% tariff, that's going to take you from 717 discounted subtotal to 932 with a 30% tariff, or 1104.49 on a 54% tariff. Now, if we step that up to a 4G LTE capable system with retail of 590, and we just redo the math on all those numbers, that puts you a little over $1,000, 1,062 with the 30% tariff, 1,258 with the 54% tariff. So these tariffs, if they remain, are really going to be something to consider. And I feel really bad that this timing is happening coincidental to Chigee's launch. And, again, all this is unknown. This is very, very speculative. Speculative for two reasons. One, we don't understand 100% Chigee's pricing until they actually publish and accept orders. But all these numbers make sense. And I think with the 20% discount, they were trying to hedge a little bit against anticipated tariffs. Chigee's a smart company. They want to position themselves well to gain consumer acceptance, and I think they're trying to be under that $1,000 price point, trying to anticipate some sort of tariff. I'm not sure they they can't just eat all this money and eat a 54% tariff from the U.S. government. So anyway, I think they were trying to keep it under 1,000, which was kind of what I had a mental number in my head. I think a lot of people have that. When you kind of cross over $1,000, it really becomes more significant. And then we have the components down here: OBD, TPMS, wireless remote, and then the LiDAR. So these yellow numbers are they're not subject to a 20% discount from Chigee up here. And then down here, this is just my swag, if you will, wild ass guess on what a LiDAR unit will probably cost once they get it fully developed and released for purchase. That's probably going to be around $150 part. And then so then we see all the tariffs calculated, and then it's extended. So with the 30% tariff, these components, OBD, TPMS, wireless remote, and LiDAR, cross over that $100 mark. And then if it's a 54% tariff, then we're well over $100, and we approach $200 on a $150 LiDAR unit. So that's it. That's my take. Interesting times, man. I'm really curious how this Chigee launch. I'm going to be honest. It's kind of having me rethink. Well, I'm in the Philippines, really, to be honest. So I don't really have to consider the tariffs a whole lot. And my system will probably price out right around here, around the $700 mark. But I'll be subject to Philippine duties and taxes. So I kind of want to do a little bit of due diligence there and understand my full pricing for this unit It's just crept up there, and I gotta give it some consideration. So, anyway, but man, it's tough to buy this if you're in the States right now with what's going on with tariffs. But the Chigee is delivering a lot of value in this unit, and if $717, I think it's up there. It's one of the more expensive systems you're going to see in the premium space, but I think the Chigee AIO-6 warrants that. There's a lot of technology, a lot of capability built into the device, and it just sucks that a trade war is being launched at this time. And man, if you want to opine, give me some comments on what you think about these trade numbers. If you're in the States and you're a happy camper and you're willing to fork over $1,200 for a base AIO-6 system, let me know. I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time with that. Anyway, there you have it. That's just a little update on Chigee launch and pricing and some rumors. Thanks for watching, and throw me your comments.